Right now, Iran's new supreme leader is issuing his very first message to the world as the war in Iran intensifies by the hour. The former Ayatollah's son, now in charge, saying he is calling for unity among the people. He also says all U.S. bases should be immediately closed in the region, or else those bases will be attacked. He also says the closure of the Strait of Hormuz should still be in place as a tool to pressure the enemy. And these attacks intensifying not just through the air, but also hitting the digital space. The Wall Street Journal reporting medical tech giant Stryker was hit by a major cyber attack, disabling employee devices. The hackers say they were retaliating on behalf of Iran. Joining us now, national security contributor Tracy Walder. She's also a former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, welcome to you. What are the potential targets of digital assaults given Iran's history?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Marni. I think the targets are really industry in general. Obviously, critical infrastructure will always be a target, things like, our water supply, electrical grids, to cyber attacks. But I also think that they're going after industry. Iran has gone after Saudi Arabia's Aramco, their nationalized oil group, as well as the Sands Casino in Las Vegas. And so they're sort of all over the place. But really, I think that they are aiming for industry because this is a little bit different. They didn't hack a hospital per se. They hacked essentially the supplier. And so I think they're looking to sort of disrupt that chain.
What are the options for the U.S. in times like this to protect businesses across the country from these types of attacks?
Yeah, so it's hard, right? Because the reality is we live in a capitalist society. That's a good thing. And so each company is entitled to do their own due diligence in terms of protecting themselves through from cyber attacks, excuse me. And so that makes it really, really difficult. So the federal government really can't put mandates in place necessarily, but what they can do is to really start monitoring these groups in a better way. But the problem with that is we are very understaffed in terms of cyber monitoring.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, so part of the problem, the CIA was actually doing this a while ago. The reality is the government jobs really can't match the salaries of cyber in like Silicon Valley, if you will. And so what the CIA actually was doing was trying to match those salaries to lure people into those careers. But the problem is a lot of individuals who are in this industry can quite frankly make more money in the private industry.
That's too bad. Can the U.S. and would the U.S., Tracy, retaliate with cyber attacks of its own?
100%. And I'm sure that we are obviously working on that. We do engage in cyber attacks. We tend to not be as open with them as other countries. And also, we tend to do them in conjunction with other countries like Israel. So I would suspect that we're working with them right now to do that.
When you talk about electrical grids and water supply, that's a major concern for folks watching at home, right? Can this impact me? What are some ways that local municipalities are monitoring these things?
So I think right now, my hope is there is a direct line of communication between our cyber monitoring capabilities as well as sort of folks at the industry micro level, as well as with county seats, county governments, those kinds of things. Because if you're in a more rural area that doesn't have sort of these large behemoth police departments that are regularly engaging with intel assessments, that can be problematic. And so my hope is those assessments are making their way down to the more regional municipalities.
Well, let's hope. Tracy, thanks as always.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.